Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play A Golden Wake. Last time we met our protagonist, Alfie Banks.
The sun fried your brain there, young fella? Come over and have a chat.
And this guy wants us to talk to him, but we got fired from our job because our co-workers sabotaged us. So, we have gone to greener pastures to find new opportunities. And here's Doc Dammers, our first, real-life character.
I haven't got all day, Sonny. Come have a chat with old Doc and you can be on your way.
Yeah, let's see if there's some history here. I believe there is. Yes, there is.
This building where Alfie first emerges off the train is the downtown Miami stop for the Florida East Coast Railroad. The Florida East Coast Railroad, as the name would imply, is a railroad line that runs all the way down the eastern coast of Florida from St. Augustine to Key West. It was developed by Henry Flagler, who I'll talk about a little bit more in depth later. This building, as it's seen here, no longer exists. It was demolished in 1963. The building was located in the area of Northwest 3rd Street and 1st Avenue in downtown Miami, which currently is the location of the Government Center station of the Miami Metro Rail. That's the elevated subway line which goes across parts of Miami. So at least the area was kept somewhat consistent.
Time is money, boy, and you're putting me in the red.
Alright, I'll talk to you. Yeah, he keeps annoying you until you do.
May I help you with something?
Pardon me for saying so, my boy, but I believe I'm the one who can offer you the help.
I'm really not interested in buying anything, sir.
Of course you aren't. Did you think I just fell off the turnip truck? I can tell a fellow salesman a mile away. You're here to get a piece of the action, aren't you?
Yes, I suppose I am.
Then consider this your own little welcoming committee. What did you say your name was?
I didn't. It's Banks. Alfred Banks.
Well then, welcome to Miami, Alfred Banks. By your complexion, I'm guessing you come from up north.
Yes, New York, actually.
Hell of a town, but you'll find we do things a bit differently down here. If you got any questions, feel free to ask.
Alright, so let's ask him about Coral Gables.
I'm interested in this Coral Gables development I've heard about.
Oh, straight to the top, eh? They call it Miami's master suburb. It's been meticulously planned and is ready to start construction at any moment. Lots are going faster than a Tin Lizzie downhill. If you want to get involved there, you're going to need to talk to the man in charge, George Merrick.
George Merrick. We saw him in the newspaper.
Where can I find George Merrick?
He's got a sales office downtown, right on Flagler Street. Look for the building made of coral rock next to the Stocks and Bonds office. You can't miss it. Of course, George is incredibly busy these days and doesn't talk to just anyone.
Maybe not, but he'll talk to me.
I like your spirit, kid. You'll get places thinking like that.
Alright.
What's the current market like down here? I've heard quite a few things back in New York.
People are buying left and right. It's a great time to be in real estate. Plenty of dough to be made. Every day, more and more locals and tourists come looking for their own spot of land, and we're here to sell. Mark my words, Banks, we're on the verge of something great.
How long have you been in this business?
Probably longer than you've been alive, son. Before this opportunity opened up, I was selling lots on Miami Beach for Carl Fisher himself. Surely you saw his billboard in Times Square.
You mean it's June in Miami? Of course, everyone saw that. It's partly what inspired me to come down here.
Glad to hear it. That's a perfect example of good marketing and knowing your audience. Why do you think I'm out here by the train station? New arrivals are the easiest to sell to. There's a free piece of advice for you, Banks.
Alright.
I appreciate the information, Mr. Dammers, but I'm afraid I must be going.
Of course, eager to get started, I understand. And believe me, there'll be plenty to do very soon.
It was a pleasure to have met you. Maybe I'll see you around town.
I can more or less guarantee that, my boy.
What do you mean by that? Well, we'll see. So, let's go see if we can meet, George Merrick. Actually, I believe there's actually a... Oh, I can't activate it now. But I think there's, like, historical commentary when you're on the map, too. But anyway, let's check into our hotel, because if we look, there's some money. We have our claim ticket. So let's go on inside.
Hello and welcome to the Hotel Belmont.
There's some more paintings to look at. Photography shows the outside of the hotel and part of Flagler Street. Looks as though it was taken fairly recently since the same billboard appears in it. And the painting is an interesting example of the chiaroscuro, but the Subject matter is a bit odd to have in a hotel. Let's see, is there any history here? Nope.
Excuse me.
How may I help you, sir?
I'd like to check in, please. My reservation was made under Banks, Alfred.
One moment, please. Yes, here you are. Your room will be the second door to your right when you get to the top of the stairs. Oh, someone was here earlier from the train station to deliver your luggage. It's been placed in your room. I'll just take that claim ticket off your hands for you.
Thank you very much.
Not a problem, sir. Please, let me know if I can assist you with anything else.
As a matter of fact.
Is there anything you can tell an out-of-towner about this city?
Certainly. It's been growing at an alarming rate, especially in the past few years. There's no denying we're at the start of a land boom. I hear tell this new Coral Gables development is going to bring in thousands more people as well. At this pace, we could be the next Manhattan by 25.
Thank you for your assistance, my good man.
Happy to help.
Everyone here is so friendly. I like that. So let's stop by our room before we go see Mr. Merrick. This is the only time we will be coming to our room. Another painting. Yeah, these things are everywhere. I almost thought there would be like some sort of achievement for looking at all of them, but no. Anyway, this is a nice little important note. So remember bits, break the ice, introduce yourself, tell a story, sell your pitch. So let's grab that. And a photograph of our father. One of the founders of that place we got fired from. We also have a typewriter ribbon. I don't think we have a typewriter, but we have a ribbon. And that's all we need to do here. Because we need to get to work. Now let's see, here's the records office. So let's check it out. We don't have anything to do here quite yet, but I just wanted to take a look.
Hello, sir. Let me know if I can be of assistance.
And we have this doofy looking dude here.
Excuse me.
What can I do for you?
What sort of records do you keep in this office?
All kinds. Marriage licenses, death certificates, property titles, you name it.
How far back do they go?
Not too far back. 30 years or so. The city wasn't officially incorporated until 1896, but I have some records going back to 1891. You let me know if there's anything you need to look up.
Have you always lived in Miami?
Nah, I moved down here from Philly after the war. Nice place. Can't beat the climate, that's for sure.
Anyway, we don't really have any reason to request any records from him, so
Thank you for your help.
And now.
Anytime.
But if you look here, it's a portrait of a distinguished-looking older gentleman. The plaque at the bottom identifies him as H.M. Flagler. Let's check him out.
This distinguished gentleman in the painting is none other than Henry Flagler, also known as the father of Miami, because he basically brought his railroads all the way down the state of Florida and brought in a new breath of life to the swamps. Flagler was born in 1830 and was pretty much a businessman from the start. In fact, in 1870, he got together with John D. Rockefeller to found Standard Oil, which was one of the biggest oil companies in the United States. Flagler and his wife Mary went down to Jacksonville, Florida in 1878 because she was sick and her doctor advised her to go down there for the weather for her health. Unfortunately, she died, and she pretty much left Flagler alone to raise a son. He got remarried and 2 years later went to St. Augustine, where he noticed that there wasn't really much going on. And being an opportunist, he figured that there would be a big potential for tourism, so he decided to start building a hotel and a railroad system. And when that was a success, he decided to go further south and started building hotels and railroads all the way down to Biscayne Bay, where he ended up in 1896. At that point, Flagler's hotels and railroads were so popular that tons of people were coming to the area, and so he decided to expand all the way down to Key West. Meanwhile, the town that had sprung up around Biscayne Bay was so impressed with Flagler's work that they decided they wanted to call themselves Flagler after him. But he declined and suggested that the town name itself after the river, which in turn had a name taken from a Native American tribe, the Miami.
That's interesting, at least to me. I don't know if it's interesting to you, but it's interesting to me. So anyway, we're on Flagler Street, and West Flagler Street is where Merrick's office is. Now, there's actually an achievement to be had here. If you wait around a bit, and if you're a fan of the Ben Jordan series, you'll recognize this, but Ben Jordan's grandfather, whose name I forgot, what was his name? But yeah, his sprite will actually appear walking here, and this is the right time period, so I guess they take place in the same universe. And I'm actually not sure which sprite it is, but when it pops by, you'll actually get an achievement for that, so that's something. So here we are. A couple of men seated here, waiting their turn for the chance to speak with Mr. Merrick. You wonder what it's going to take to be in their shoes. More paintings. Painting shows a nice looking stone archway. The plaque underneath identifies it as the soon to be constructed Alhambra entrance. The painting shows a large building which appears to house shops. There is no plaque identifying it, but it must be a proposed structure which has not yet been built. Now, who do we have here? The secretary looks tired and hassled as she busily jots down information on a piece of paper. You can't say you envy her job.
Pardon me, miss.
I'm terribly sorry, sir, but I'm just too busy for you right now. Perhaps you could come back another time?
Another time? I've just come all the way from New York. Surely there's something a lovely young lady like you can do to help out a man in need?
Look, Buster, I've heard it all before. Like I said, I haven't got time for you at this moment.
What seems to be the trouble?
Well, not that you'd care, but I need to get these letters written. And seeing as the weekly shipment of supplies has been delayed, I'm forced to do them by hand.
You seem very dedicated to your job. I can appreciate that.
I am, yes. Mainly because I want to keep it. Now, unless you want to come back here and pick up a pen, I really need to get back to my work.
A tempting offer, but I'll have to decline. I'll be back later.
Well, perhaps we can help her out, then she'd be more inclined to help us. If you notice, there is a typewriter on the desk. Standard typewriter takes up the right side of the secretary's desk. She said that the supplies hadn't arrived, so we can assume that she has no typewriter ribbon. Well, lucky for her, we happen to bring some along.
Pardon me, miss. Would this typewriter ribbon be of any use to you?
It certainly would. Mine wore out yesterday, and I ordered a replacement, but it hasn't come in yet. Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate it. This will cut my work time by half at least.
My pleasure. Happy to help.
So now, maybe she can give us some info.
Pardon me, miss.
What may I do for you, sir?
I'd like to see Mr. George Merrick.
Take a number. Mr. Merrick is in very high demand. I'm afraid he's not currently seeing walk-ins.
Would it be possible to make an appointment to see Mr. Merrick?
Certainly. Let me see. Our next available appointment is next September.
What? That's preposterous.
Mr. Merrick is a very busy man.
I think you've made that quite clear. Come now. I helped you out with your typewriter. Now you're just gonna hi-hat me? I don't know how things work down here, but where I'm from, one good turn usually deserves another.
Okay. Keep your shirt on. I'll level with you. I'm not going to be able to get you an appointment, but I can tell you that Mr. Merrick keeps an eye out for fresh talent. If you can manage to do something to impress him, he may see you without an appointment.
I see. What would you suggest?
Well, I'm not sure, but you might be able to get something done at today's land auction.
Now, here's something interesting that Francisco Gonzalez did. She said that the next appointment is in September. What month she says the appointment will be in, it depends on what month you're actually playing the game. So, I am currently in June, so that's 3 months from now. So yeah, that's a nice little touch. They kind of do the same. He got the blah blah. He got the inspiration from Monkey Island 3. When you're talking to the guy lying on the beach, you ask how long has he been there, and he says a certain date depending on what date you're at. Yeah, anyway.
A land auction, you say? Where and when?
It's set to start this afternoon, around 2 o'clock. You'll find it at the corner of Granada Avenue and Coral Way.
Fantastic. I'll head over there right away.
Good luck.
Have you got any pertinent information on the Coral Gables development?
None I'm allowed to divulge, sir.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any history in this place? Nope. Alright, so let's see if we can't impress. And actually, I do want to put that on for now. Because when we exit back to the map, I think there's a history thing. I know there's some sort of no, just commentary, no history, so never mind. But there's a couple of things of history here.
100. Do I hear
Check
100?
who it is. It's Doc Dammers. So yeah, he actually works for George Merrick.
Not much is known about Edward Dammers' life before he entered sales, but his nickname Doc comes from the fact that he was a doctor, although a doctor in what is not quite clear. One thing is for certain, however, and that is that he was very good at his job. He reportedly sold $1.4 million worth of property in just one day. They used to say that he was able to sell ice skates in Hawaii. Doc used to liven up his land auctions by offering prizes to people who bought land, including china and other knickknacks. Dammers worked for Carl Fisher in Miami Beach before joining the Coral Gables project as sales director. He already had a reputation as a master salesman at that time, so he was a pretty hot commodity for George Merrick's project.
Alright, and another little piece, I guess.
So you may be asking yourself, what exactly was this whole land boom all about anyway? Well, it was Florida's first real estate bubble, which basically meant that land was being sold at ridiculously low prices in such high volume that the market became saturated and eventually the value went down dramatically. By the 1920s, Miami had been around as a city for about 30 years, and South Florida had gained a reputation as a tropical paradise. So naturally, outside developers came down to Florida and tried to make their profit by selling the land to people all over the United States. The prices started going up based on speculation, and people went a little bit overboard, as is wont to happen with these sorts of things. Unfortunately, like any bubble, it's so called because it's a fragile thing that's going to pop at any moment, and in 1925 people started realizing that the high prices of land were based more on the idea of finding customers rather than the actual value of the land. So the cracks started showing in the glitzy facade of South Florida, and the land boom ended. There were a couple of other factors that contributed to the land boom's end, but we'll get into those later on.
All
Do I
right.
hear any bids for the Madrid lots? You'd be a fool to let those slip away.
To your surprise, it seems that the auctioneer is none other than Doc Dammers. You wonder how he managed to achieve this position. Let's talk to him.
Well, well, fancy seeing you here.
Thanks. What brings you to my humble little land auction?
I'm trying to see Mr. Merrick, but it's proving a bit more difficult than I'd anticipated.
Don't say old Doc didn't warn you, son. Anyway, I'd love to chat, but I'm a bit tied up at the moment.
Is there anything I can do to help?
Actually, there is. See those two sets of stragglers over there, separate from the crowd? They're all about a hair's breadth away from buying, but I just can't get them to budge. Take your pick. If you can convince either set to buy some houses, I just might put in a good word for you back at the sales office. The fellow by himself there seems like he won't take too much effort to convince. If you want a real challenge, you might try the crowd of 5 there.
I'll see what I can do.
Attaboy. Oh, one more thing before you get started. I know you've got experience in this business, but I want to talk to you about seller intuition. From time to time, you might find yourself needing to persuade someone. You know as well as I do that that's all about finding a person's weakness and bending it to your whim. When you're talking to them, you can use seller intuition to your advantage. It'll give you a clearer read on people and let you figure out what you should play to in order to get them to see things your way. But enough yammering from me. Go and do what you have to do.
Alright, so now we have our chance to impress George Merrick, and we have
Do I hear any
two different
bids
ways
for the
to progress
Madrid
with the
lots?
plot.
You'd be a fool to let those slip
Now
away.
he's saying that these are the harder crowd to please, but if you choose them, then there's no way you can actually
Any bids
fail
for
at it.
200?
You could
200.
choose him, and he's supposedly easier, but the way you convince him is different, and you can actually fail at it. But if you fail with him, you can still go to them. There's also the fact
100.
that
Do I hear 100?
each one of them will give you an achievement. If you choose him, you get one achievement. If you choose them, you get another. And there's a couple more achievements I'll talk about, but can
And
we convince
sold. You made a
anyone
choice you won't
to
regret,
buy
sir.
some land? You're just gonna have to find out next time on Let's Play a Golden Wake. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.
Sold. You've made your husband a very happy man, miss.